Oh dear, this ain't good for the fanboys. But wait for the response in 3, 2, 1. But, combustion cars are far more likely to catch fire. Yeah, that's right, we hear of car dealerships burning to a crisp every day of the week. Joking aside, of course, we don't hear of that, and that's because you can put a normal car fire out with a frickin' watering can, or failing that, a normal sprinkler system. This is absolutely not the case with fires caused by lithium-ion batteries in EVs. Those of you who've been with the channel for a while will be bored of hearing all this because I say it so often. But it needs repeating because so few people genuinely understand this, and it's so important to get this message across. EV fires are nothing like regular car fires, and whilst they might be less frequent, the consequences of these fires can be catastrophic. You can't just aim a hose at it and it'll go out. It will often take thousands of litres of water just to cool it down enough to deal with, but it's nowhere near extinguished. And so here we have an entire BYD EV showroom destroyed. Forget burn your driveway, it's now burn your dealership. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney-based YouTuber. Be sure to follow me on the usual socials for more content, links in the description, and there's a code on screen. Scan that with your phone if you want to sign up for a weekly MGUY email. It'd be great to have you on board. EV fires are an example of a risk known as low probability and high impact. Yes, they're less likely to occur in the first place, but when they do, you'll certainly know about it. Such risks are very hard to categorise and therefore very hard to deal with. This kind of risk assessment is one of the major challenges of dealing with EVs. Should we expect every apartment block and parking garage to have to spend millions of dollars upgrading their sprinkler systems to deal with the very low probability, but possibly catastrophic outcome of an EV fire? Or wouldn't it be easier just to say, no EVs? I know which I'd be choosing right now. Perhaps this is just the new normal we'll all have to get used to in this wonderful clean and green post-net zero world. The odd EV dealership self-immolating and sending tons of carcinogenic smoke into the air every now and again. Love this new environmentally friendly stuff. So let's just remind ourselves for the umpteenth time why EV fires are so dangerous and so difficult to deal with. Firstly, lithium-ion battery fires burn at around 2,500 degrees Celsius or 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is almost an order of magnitude hotter than an ordinary car fire. Secondly, they cannot simply be put out by dousing with water. The batteries contain their own oxidizer, which means that normal firefighting methods simply do not work. Thirdly, they release high-pressure jets of burning gas which act like blowtorches to anything nearby. And finally, even when you think the damn thing is out, it can catch fire again days, weeks, or even months into the future, without warning, and start the whole thing off again. And that's ignoring other problems like the vast quantities of highly toxic smoke and gases released, many of which are highly dangerous to human health and require full breathing apparatus from the first responders, and the equally vast quantities of contaminated water that should be treated before released into the environment. So here we have an entire EV dealership up in smoke. This Auto Evolution article spends the first 5 paragraphs telling us how safe EVs are compared to regular fires, which you can read at the link in the description, before having to bite the bullet and tell the truth. BYD showroom burns to the ground after one electric car bursts into flames. According to the Fuzhou Fire Department, the fire started from an electric vehicle parked inside the showroom. A video shared on Chinese social media showed a massive fire engulfing the showroom. Fortunately, nobody was injured during the incident, although 29 firefighters with 7 fire trucks fought the blaze for almost an hour. Judging by our video showing the charred remains of the showroom, the fight was unsuccessful. The entire showroom building was burnt to the ground, together with the vehicles inside. Car Scoops has a bit more detail, but BYD is trying to shift the blame away from the cars and onto a wiring fault in the building, as we'll see. BYD reportedly sees 10th showroom fire since 2021 as store burns down in China. BYD blames old wiring in the store's roof for the fire, but reports indicate that its showrooms catch fire pretty frequently. Wow, what jolly rotten bad luck to have so many badly wired showrooms causing the fires, which are of course nothing to do with a bunch of cheap Chinese EVs stored in them. A massive fire broke out overnight at a BYD showroom on May 16, leaving little more than the bare framing of the building, the skeletons of a handful of vehicles and soot. Fortunately, no one was killed in the blaze. Videos shared online show large clouds of smoke billowing in the skies above the showroom, giving the entire surrounding area an orange hue as the flames reflected off the rising plumes. In the background, loud bangs and pops can be heard. The fire started at 12:32 a.m. in Qingkou in Fujian province, and 7 fire trucks were dispatched to the scene, report HKO1. Eyewitnesses say the flames were too intense for firefighters to approach when they first arrived, but the blaze had more or less been extinguished by 1:18 a.m. In a statement, BYD acknowledged the incident, writing that it was initially determined that the fire location was located in the office or roof of the second floor. It cannot be ruled out that the fire was caused by a short circuit or aging of the wiring, as translated by Google. So wiring started it. Okay. To paraphrase Mandy Rice Davis, they would say that, wouldn't they? But whatever started the fire, the lithium-ion batteries in the cars would have contributed enormously to the intensity of the fire and would have ensured that it would not be easily contained. This story again just highlights the problems there are with EV fires, and in particular, quantifying and assessing the risks and how you should possibly mitigate those risks. It is and will continue to be an absolute minefield.